How are you? Are you doing?
Yeah.
Alright, so I think after that long introduction, let's get started. So my name is Makarand and I'm going to talk about the future of technical writing, the way I perceive it. And before I get started, I would like to thank STC India chapter for giving me this opportunity. I would like to thank the organizers, including myself, for making it possible for people to come here and then share their knowledge and perspectives with all of you. So, something that was not mentioned in my introduction is that I was a columnist for about 7 years of my educational career. So, I used to look at people's hands and I used to tell them what their future is going to be. Right? And I stopped that practice about 20 years ago, but then the bug is still there. Right? So, which means I still like to predict things. I still like to see what's going to happen in the future and tell people about it. One guy that I really hate when it comes to predicting future is Nostradamus, because he has never written it right, and he would have made a lousy technical writer, because even now people don't understand what the hell he has written, right? So it's open to so many misinterpretations and whatever. So my predictions are not going to be as disconnected and as cryptic as that. So I hope that I'll be able to tell you few simple things. I have got 45 minutes and I think I have got 23 slides. So let's go ahead. I'll probably breeze through some of the slides. I would like to take questions as they come, so feel free to raise your hand and ask your question. We'll probably pass on a mic so that your question gets recorded. Or then I will repeat the questions when you ask me the question. Right? So, before we get started, I would like to mention this. A lot of people think that technical writing, instructional design and content writing is the same. I would like to share that their motives or their driving causes are actually different. Right? Technical writing, I think, is related to physics. And anybody who wants to predict future of technical writing will probably need to relate it to future of physics. Physics leads to technology. Technology leads to products, and technical writing leads to products, or products lead to technical writing. So if physics itself changes, I think technology is going to change, and that's why our writing is also going to change. Content writing, on the other hand, is related to emotions, society and personal life. The way technical content appeals to you, other content doesn't appeal. In fact, technical content, you would love a book, right? I mean, how many people are there who love a book? You have read a book and you love it. Can you share the name? Yes. Anyone? Lord of the Rings.
The Secret by Rhonda Byrne.
Okay. The Alchemist. Go ahead.
Brighter than thousands suns by open book.
Brighter than thousand suns by Robert Oppenheimer. And he was quoting the Bhagavad Gita. Right? Yes, anybody else? Yes.
7 habits of highly effective people.
7 habits of highly effective people. Now, to this side, my question is different. Tell me a manual you love. So you love your own manual, right? Have you found a person who loves your manual? See, the point here is technical writing is not related to emotions, but content writing is. Right? And a lot of people think that it is same. If you are a technical writer, that means you can do content writing. Yes, a lot of people can do that, yes. But then the drivers are different. Whereas instructional design is related to education, skills, knowledge, and overall human maturity. It's related to learning. Technical writing is not instructional design. Instructional design is not content writing. These are 3 different things. My predictions today are probably related to technical writing only. They will probably have some effect on other aspects, but then I'm mostly talking about technical writing. Right? Oops. Okay, here we go. Now, can't computers generate content? They can. I don't think so. Computers generate data and not content. Correct? What is content? Content is something that appeals to you. Right? So, this is how computer processes data. Numerical data in arrays, tables, and so on. And this is how human being processes data. So if you think computers can generate content, try to give that table to your Valentine coming 14th of February on the Valentine's Day. And that's the end of your relationship with her. Correct? And try to put that rose in the USB socket of the computer, and that's the end of the socket address. Right? If not the computer. So this is how human being processes data. Right? There you go. Now, I was really serious in finding out if my job is going to be redundant, because I see a lot of jobs around me which have become redundant because of IT. So I wanted to know whether my job is also going to be redundant, and I found the answer in Dr. Michio Kaku's book, which is The Physics of Future. And if there is any one thing I want to tell you in this session is please watch his video, which is The Physics of Future. He delivered that at the Congress of Science in Boston. It's about 1 hour video that is available, where he has talked about what's going to happen in next 20 or 30 years. Right? So I don't need to introduce you to Dr. Michio Kaku. I think he's very famous. If you have watched Discovery Science, you would have seen him. He talks about multiverses, he talks about wormholes, talks about quantum theory and so on and so forth. So in his book, he has mentioned that the writer's job cannot be done by anything that's related to thinking, anything that's related to intelligence and so on, cannot be done by a computer. By the way, that guy is me, and because you are thinking it's cocaine data. So what I want to say is content appeals and data doesn't. Right? And reader relates to content through experience, culture and emotions. So technical writing grew from what numbers we had. Nobody has that number. But somewhere I get the feeling that we have got about 32,000 technical writers in this country. That's an approximate number of us. So in this conference itself, we have got about 350. I think each one of us probably knows at least 5 others who are not there in the conference. That's close to about 2,000. Correct? So I'm sort of suggesting that over the entire country, we probably have 32,000. Right? That's the number we have. Careers have settled down, jobs have stabilized in the last few years. And the good thing is we have got a lot of multi-talented and multi-disciplinary candidates who have come into technical writing. So people from journalism background have come, people from language background have come, people from technology background have come, engineers have come, so on and so forth. Right? And because of that, the career has matured as a whole. Over the last few years, we also know that layoffs have also started in India. So we always thought that layoffs will happen in the US and the jobs will come to India, but then layoffs have also started in India. New careers were created in spite of the fact that there were no training institutes or universities giving those courses. So tech writing course not available, instructional design not available, user experience not available, but then those careers will get created. Content writing demand has increased in the last 3 years. And if you ask me, I probably relate it to the Flipkart, I probably relate it to the Snapdeal and so on. Anybody knows what number of products are being sold on Flipkart today? Number of products? 3 million. Now, do you know anybody who says I work as a salesman in Flipkart? No. So who's selling the product on Flipkart? The content is selling the products on Flipkart. So Flipkart needs at least 3 million paragraphs to be written. 1 paragraph per product. And they have to write it differently because Snapdeal may also be selling those 3 million products. 6 million. eBay is selling the same products. 9 million. We know at least 9 million paragraphs are to be written and rewritten every year. Can you imagine how many writers that can ability to go ahead with your calculation? Right? Let's go back. So, internet has shaped our career. Yes. Remember, internet will also destroy our careers. बहुत ज़्यादा नाचो मत. Internet is merciless. Today, internet has become, powerful than any human being, and it's only second to God. It's as simple as that. Correct? Internet has shaped our careers. It can also destroy our careers. Right? So some of the obvious changes that we have seen. Communities are users' platforms of choice. People like to go to websites, blogs. Cloud is the platform of choice. So nobody is working on desktop. Everybody is trying to work on cloud. Ever increasing use of devices. More and more applications being available. Increase in number of users. Some of them never used technology before. My friend was telling me that his father went to stay with him in the US and he would miss the Marathi newspaper. And he never used the computer while in India. And he gave him a tablet. Now with tablet, the same person would read newspaper in the US. And after coming back to India, or while coming back to India, his father carried the tablet with him, saying that now I can use it. There are a lot of people who are not able to use computers, they are able to use tablets, they are able to use mobile phones. These are people who are having content accessible to them. Right? So users are getting smarter. Some of them already know the competitive products. Many new users created. There are some users who probably don't need your manuals. In fact, there are users who are now writing manuals. Right? So before iPhone comes up, Apple comes up and says that this is a new product and this is how you can unbox it. You know, the day it is shipped, you will probably see an unboxing video within 2 days, 48 hours on YouTube. How to unbox iPhone 6. So there are users who are creating the documents. We call that as UGC, user generated content, which includes videos, discussions, blogs, mailing lists and so on. I was interested in finding out, and I think she mentioned about Internet of Things. So what is the amount of user generated content? That amount is doubling. The amount of user generated content on Internet is doubling in every 11 hours. Not years, hours, HOURs. Can you believe that? That's the base of change. Increasing popularity of open source applications. Right? A lot of people are now thinking about open source. Changes in design, development, manufacturing processes. These are all obvious changes. Let's go to more subtle changes. Communities are opening up more and more. Users are relying on data security. Different configurations of cloud are now available. Earlier, people used to say, oh, our data is on cloud. Now there is public cloud, there is private cloud, there is a hybrid cloud. Tomorrow you'll have a portable cloud, then you'll have a cloud in pocket. And so on and so forth. Correct? This is how we are involved. Open source products have part of the premium products and they may actually lead them in the future. So there was some time where we used to say that, okay, this is a functionality I'm getting in Word. Can I do that in OpenOffice? Now the open source products are developing features which are not there in the premium products. And in the coming days, because of crowdsourcing, whatever you may want to call it, the open source products may actually have more features than the premium products. Linux has been much more creative than Windows. Now, that's a personal opinion, but I think so, yes. Right? And Linux is for free, Windows is free. Correct? Overall team size has shrunk. So we have heard people saying that, oh, this is a major product for our company and we have 200 people. Now this is a 10-year course. Today, if you have 35 people working on a project, I think you are lucky. That's a big deal. Right? You will not have teams of 200 people. Development life cycle has shrunk. So much so we have to have different methodologies, including Agile and so on and so forth, just to make sure that we deliver within that life cycle. Marketing has become focused and extremely thinner. Virtualization is increasing. User assistance is increasing. Let's come to the... Am I there? Yes? Challenges: developing users' interest, making products available through devices, searching content and making sense of it. When internet was introduced, we called it as the World Wide Web. A lot of people are confused between the two. What's the difference between internet and World Wide Web? Internet is the hardware, World Wide Web is the content. The content hosted on the internet. Right? But then in the first generation, only few people could publish. Then we had Web 2.0. What did that mean? Everybody could publish. But then this has led to a problem because people who are publishing it have no clue how to publish it. So we have got too much of useless content on internet. So now we are saying how can we make sense of it? So we are moving to Web 3.0, which is a semantic web, or as a semantic web. Go ahead and search more about it. We are going beyond text, and I think within this conference we have talked about, there was a wonderful pre-conference session we had at DMCO, creating videos. Right? And so on. So we are going beyond text, we are talking about videos, sound animations and so on. Future of content. So my future slides start from here. Content is going to be multi-author. There will be multiple authors generating the same content. Right? Now many of these things are actually happening right now. So I perhaps don't need to say that this will happen in future. Content is being multi-authored now. Content is being reused now. Content is being minimalized now, structured and so on. Correct? But slowly, content will also become intelligent. content will also become rated. And based on that, somebody will decide what content to show first. They are already asking, was this article of any help to you? If no, we are not going to show it to the next person. Correct? And so on. Content is going to be localized, and this can actually happen on the fly. So somebody may just choose a language and say, oh, show me in so and so language. That's it. Content is going to be scaled. Content is going to be curated. Content is going to be auto-updated. You can just say that, okay, update my help whenever a new release comes, and that's it. You don't have to bother about downloading something, it gets automatically updated. Content is going to be amalgamated. That's a word that I have used, I have coined the term. If you go to internet, you don't find that word, don't be surprised. What do I mean by amalgamated content? We are going to have a mix of text, we are going to have a mix of video, we are going to have a mix of sound, mix of pictures. If you have the NDTV application on your mobile, you can see that you see a photograph, and sometimes the photograph is actually a video. So when you click on that, it plays. You'll see news items with the icon, you click on that, it will read out the news. Correct? So it's going to be amalgamated content. You may not just deliver text, you are going to deliver audios, videos, and so on. We'll probably also have searchability index. Yes, Udaan is a good example of many points here. Why? Because we have got amalgamated content, we have got an e-book, we have got a published version. You can go to Udaan website and you can actually hear the articles. Here is what I would suggest. Go ahead, download the zip file. Files are also available in zip format. Unzip them onto your pen drive, put it in your car, and listen to one article per day. You are good for next 1 week. Everything is open source. So I'm not talking about future, isn't it? I'm talking about today. Right? So searchability index. I think Kumar mentioned yesterday there's something called as readability index. The Fletch Kincaid gradient, which tells you how many years of education you need to have to be able to understand something. But then we don't have searchability index. We probably work with Word as a writer. So if I'm a content writer, Word is my choice of tools. But then Word doesn't tell me what is my search index density, search keyword density. So probably these tools are going to also give you ratings about searchability in the future. Right? Future of processes. We'll continue to have group authoring, sharing, searching, managing, tracking content, and so on. We'll have cloud-based authoring. It's already the time of cloud-based tools. Nothing will be there on your desktop or laptop. And Google applications are a good example. Just go to your Gmail, you can create a spreadsheet in Google Docs, you can create a document, you can create a presentation, you can download it if you want, upload it if you want, and so on. You don't really need to have any application installed. So your applications are also in the cloud. You'll see more and more of that in the coming years. We have got media, we'll have media dependent workflows. So right now it's like I'm generating text, and I'm sure you know that with some of the tools that we are using for creating videos, if it is able to recognize your voice, it actually creates captions or a transcript of your audio as you speak, and it can combine that with the frames of your video. So while the frame is playing, you can see the text in caption. Right? Now they still have some issues with related to understanding of or an Indian accent and so on, but I believe those issues will get sorted out. Right? So we'll probably have much more media dependent workflows. Future of tools, not open source tools, cloud-based tools and so on. SAS is software as a service. And we may even see a tool which we have not seen so far. Right? So 2 years ago we were in Goa conference, I saw a wonderful tool called Auto Presenter. And I'm one of the major users of that. Right? I never thought anything like this was possible. Future of our careers, this is where the investing part comes. Energy and defense sectors will create a lot of content jobs. Because the physics in those sectors are going to change. We are going to move into nuclear energy, we are going to move into non-conventional energy, we are going to move into so many other new forms of energy. In Japan, before the accident, they used to use seawater for cooling the nuclear energy reactors. In France, they are using the seawater for the energy reactors, they are not using any nuclear fuel. Seawater is the fuel. You'll be surprised. Somebody is creating energy from seawater. Right? Don't be surprised if you have a car running on seawater. And that's the reason I said that, you'll have to track physics if you want to know where your job is going. Because physics is going to lead to a change in your career, change in your job. Right? IDs and tech writers, I mean, your skills have merged, content writing will also merge. In select cases, localization and translation will merge, and probably it's already happening. Penetration and spread of all writing careers will increase. People will expect you to do a lot more. One of the questions that was asked me is, are videos a threat to technical writing? And I said, Ghoda is not a threat to Ghoda writing. अगर आपके पास घोड़ा गाड़ी है तो घोड़ा चाहिए, करेक्ट? अगर आपके पास कंटेंट है तो वीडियो तो चाहिए. You should learn how to master video. And let me tell you, 3 years ago I did a course in video, that is short filmmaking. 1.5 years ago I did a course in voice acting. 6 months ago I got my first commercial project as a voiceover artist. Somebody actually paid me for it. That's amazing. Anyway, so video producers, marketing collateral authors will be in demand, user experience designers will be in demand, proposal writing will be in demand. A lot of companies are looking at technical writers for writing business proposals because their marketing people are not finding time to do. Increase freelancing opportunities, enabled by shrinking team size and availability of open source tools. I think you don't see that point here. What I am saying here is freelancers will be about 7 to 9% of the industry. So if we are saying that there are 10,000 tech writers in India, can you tell me the number of freelancers? What is the 9%? 900. I don't have any data, unfortunately. I feel we probably have 1,000. That's a guesstimate, and it's a very wide estimate, right? One thing that I would like to tell you is this, that in the coming days, there are going to be a lot of less jobs in the market. There will be a lot of work to do, but there will be a lot of less jobs. So once again, touching on what Dr. Kaku has said, technology generates wealth, and technology makes our life enriching. That's why we have demand for technical writing. All the time, products evolve and documentation will be needed. So we have a job for a few years, don't worry. So I'll try to predict a few things here, and I also put the years to that. So the biggest eliminators of tech writing jobs will be user interface designers. If people design an intuitive product, they probably don't need your documentation, they don't need your video, they don't need you. As simple as that. Correct? Without any sugar to it. Content syndicates resale content. And this is happening even right now. Data.com is telling you how to use Photoshop. And people are preferring that over reading the user guide of Photoshop. Right? So the year that I have written there is 2014. Knowledge will become a micro asset for the revenue. So a company that's making millions of dollars in products will probably create reusable information assets and will probably give users access-based licensing of that. So users will use the content and actually pay for it. Why? Because it will be much better content. आप मूवी देखते हो? हाँ, क्या आपके लाइफ में ड्रामा कम है जो बाहर जाके देखते हैं? आप नाटक देखते हो? आप क्या कम नाटक करते हो? बाहर जाके क्यों देखते हो? Because it is better generated, and it ends in 2 hours, right? Go ahead, clap. So knowledge will become a micro asset. Why do I keep on changing? Am I there? Yes. Difference in job profiles of long and short document authors. Do you remember the last time Usain Bolt won his Olympic gold? Who knows? 2000? Do you remember when Usain Bolt won his marathon title? Correct. And you know what? I'm going to give you a badge. Usain Bolt never ran a marathon. Why? He's not a long runner. He runs 100 meters, 400 meters. He doesn't run. Big round of applause for him. Similarly, you are going to have writers who are going to write short documents. We all hear about data, isn't it? What is data? One topic at a time. End of story. Don't bother about the rest. Please. So there will be separate short document writers, there will be separate long documents writers. And in your interview, your manager will also ask you, what is the longest document that you have written? And you will say, sir, it was 1.5 pages. Ah! Wonderful. Content writing may overtake technical writing by 2020. You'll probably have more content writers in India than technical writers in India. Now, I am not really counting individuals, so which means that you may also work as a full-time technical writer in a company and as a part-time content writer from home. Second income jobs or part-time jobs will become very popular. Yes, ma'am.
Do you foresee content writing becoming lucrative really as compared to?
It is already lucrative.
But not as lucrative as tech writing.
Wait.
So you do foresee it?
Yes. In fact, I would say that my analysis is content writing has got a glass ceiling for its income. I haven't seen a content writer making more than 7 lakhs per annum. I think some of you could be making more than 12 lakhs per annum. Am I right? You don't have to raise your hand, at least say it. No income tax official. Right? So content writing will probably not happen.
So one question.
Yeah.
How does content as a service fit into this?
Okay, let me finish the slide and talk about it. Yeah. So content writing may overtake technical writing. Total number of technical writers in India will see a resistance at 92,000. Now I have used the share market terminology. What it means is you probably not have more than 92,000 technical writers in India. Because when you achieve that number, a lot of people will start leaving. Correct? In US, I have tracked this, that the number of tech writing jobs in US are actually reducing. Right? And after 92,000, well, we are not really relying on all the US market jobs now. I do a lot of projects on Indian market also, right? And it's a big market. But I don't see a scenario where you probably go beyond 1 lakh. I don't. Have you seen a gaming console? Maybe your kids playing with it, maybe you playing with it. Do you know that the total business the gaming companies make based on gaming consoles is more than the total business that the Hollywood films make in a year? So the gaming guys are making more money than the entertainment guys. The conventional movie making industry. In fact, they are complementing. Now if there is a movie, there could be a game based on it. Otherwise the movie doesn't become popular. Right? So maybe there will be educational consoles. You have got a separate interface for gaming. What is stopping you from playing a game with a mouse? It's not interesting to play with a mouse. Joystick is better. Or a device that you can hold in hand is better. It has become so powerful that I can actually play it, with him at the same time. Against him at the same time. Correct? So we'll probably have educational consoles, maybe something like a gaming console. Mind-computer interface will lead to elimination of user manuals. What is a mind-computer interface? Do you know that there is already a product in the market where you can speak and it types, you don't need to use the keyboard. Within 15 years, you will probably not need that also. Why? You just think that you want to open the product will open. Right? You just think that you want to close the product will close. You just think and say, or maybe it will track your eyes. It will track your mind. And that's it. Assume that there is a product like this and we have given a user manual. What will the user open? User manual or product? Product. You don't need a manual. And that's probably going to happen in 2030. Correct? That's where your job is going to be seriously created. So, what can freshers expect? Lesson starting 7. And I think that has already happened. Initial engagement will be on contract. Initial engagement will be with the company's vendor rather than the company itself. Company may not want to take the risk. Correct? So, a bond of maybe a couple of years, domain knowledge being sought. We know you are a fresher in tech writing, but what do you know about storage? We know you are a fresher in tech writing, what do you know about networking? We know you are a fresher in tech writing, what do you know about banking? Why? Because tech writing has becoming a source or one of the means of mid-career change. Remember what I said, multidisciplinary and multi-talented workforce is coming to technical writing. That's going to increase. Correct? Content writing, markup, legal writing, all that will emerge. Then you can just let me know what time I have. Am I good on time? 15 minutes more. Okay, so I'm good. What can experienced writers expect? This is going to be bad. And this is going to be tricky. Competition from freshers. A company can easily say, how much are you paying? 12 lakh. What if you get 3 freshers? 6 lakhs. What do we do with him? None of our business. Let him go. That's interesting. Your job or the hundreds of jobs in the center where you are working are a matter of one signature. Somebody will sign a paper and your company will be separated. Somebody will sign a paper and your company will be bought out. Somebody will sign a paper and you will be salaried. Somebody will sign a paper and they'll hire 1,000 people. For somebody else, it's just one signature. That's it. Reduction in salary and salary growth rate. Forget about the salary growing, it may actually reduce. Companies may tell you that, boss, till now we have paid you 12 lakhs because we put effort. Now we are really going to pay you 10 lakhs. So you can work if you want. It's happening with a lot of research students in US, where they say we'll pay you for 9 months, but you'll have to work for 12 months. If you're not interested, you get somebody else who will be interested in that. Why? We don't have much else. As simple as that. And people are saying, at least I'm getting paid for 9 months. Let's go ahead. Right? Reduction in salary, layoff at the experience level of 15. What does that mean? When you become a technical writer with 15 years of experience, your company somewhere is going to start thinking that how can I eliminate him from the equation? Seriously. Assume that there are 10,000 tech writers. How many managers will they create, you think? 10,000? You know what is a typical managerial bandwidth? 1 is to 7. One manager for 7 employees. That's considered to be a healthy managerial bandwidth. So for 10,000, how many managers are you going to need? About 1,200. What happens to the rest of the 8,800 guys? They will remain writers. Or they will walk out. Not everybody can become a people's manager. Yes, we do have one more parallel track and people are interested in that, individual contributors. I know. But 8,800 individual contributors, forget it. Not going to happen. See, society has become short term and so has the industry. People are not looking at any long term career. Neither is your organization looking for you as a long term employee. Switch to business or people management, okay, that could be an option. Relocation could be an option. Need for additional certification for you. So a lot of seniors are now going into project management certification, business analyst certification, Six Sigma certification, Agile certification, and whatnot. Why? Without that, you'll probably not progress in it. And if you are somewhere in that 8 to 10 years bracket, better start thinking about it. प्यास लगने के बाद वीर खोदने मत जाओ, कुआं खोदने मत जाओ, right? Freelancing opportunities, lots of them. Lot of companies that I am talking to today, even in content writing especially, companies are ready to be overwhelmed. Why? There's no product. I tell you, you have to write about the shoes, you have to write about the cap or whatever. Is there any non-disclosure? No. You do it at home, no problem. Correct? कायदा non-disclosure. We want people to buy चश्मे में कायदा है non-disclosure. जो देखने की चीज़ है उसमें non-disclosure क्या है? Right? So a lot of freelancing opportunities there. Well, finally, one person like that can come to the industry and then you can forget my presentation. Nothing matters if a person like that is born. You will turn around all my predictions upside down. Everything that I said will be practically useless because one person has that kind of talent. That brings me to the end of my session. My email ID is mac@encourage.com. My Twitter handle is @macpandit. I'll be glad to take questions if you have any time.
Yeah, we do have time. We have 15 minutes almost.
Yes, so your question was,
Content as a service. How
can we use some ideas?
As a service.
When you spoke about content syndication, you also spoke about short-term career in content, and you also said about user-generated content. and you also spoke about how companies can give short duration and form content repositories and make it as a revenue generating platform for them, although a minor one. So does that fit into a content as a service bracket?
Content as a service bracket, does that fit into it? Yes, but it will not be a major part of their business. Correct? So there will probably, companies will have a financial department. All companies will have, all big companies will have. But not all companies will have a bank in-house. Right? So you'll still probably have third-party operators. There's a site called as Content Leap, if you want to go and check it out. So there are many sites where users can buy unique content. And they say that it's the unique content that gets you maximum number of visitors. Correct? If you are seen reusing the same content, it will not give you the same amount of visitors. There are some Indian sites that I have seen, they sell you photographs. Correct? And when they sell you a photograph, you can say, okay, what pixel resolution you want to buy, for what kind of duration you want to buy, and so on. And they may sell you photographs of models for as high as 32,000 or 52,000 rupees, when they will give you a guarantee that the same photograph will not be sold for anybody else for 6 months. Correct? Paying 25,000 can give you a very nice looking model, Indian model photograph, exclusive rights for 3 months. After 3 months, somebody else can use that photograph as well. Correct? If you go around, especially the educational institutes, websites and leaflets and banners, if you see, there is one Chinese looking girl who appears on all the photos, holding a folder in her hand. What is that? Content being sold to everybody. And what's the point? Because you are losing your identity. So there are content banks where people will sell content. Correct? So Linda.com is one of them. So, but then they are not giving any exclusive rights, they are giving you a subscription. Very intelligent model. Catch? I'm bad at it, you'll have to be good at catching. Yes,
Please pass it on there.
Can we pass on the feedback forms in the meantime?
The feedback forms are kept there at the back.
Just pass it on, so if anybody wants to speak. Yes, your question is.
Yes, I just wanted to ask that suppose an experienced content writer wants to switch his domain from content writing to technical writing. So now will he be categorized as a fresher or as an experienced?
Okay, number one, content writing is not a domain. When you say domain, you are talking about banking, you are talking about telecom, you are talking about something else. Wrong choice of word. Right? But if you are saying shifting the career, yes. In fact, what I always like to say is people may have a double career now because the speed of life has increased. Correct? And a number of times I give the example of the advertisement guru, the branding guy, Alec Williamson. Throughout his life he had a double career. He was an ad maker and he was also a drama director. Correct? He has made 50 or directed 50 full-length drama in his career of 25 years. All those 75 years he was also into advertisements. Created brands like MRF, Onida and so on. So why do you want to shift from content writing? Just expand your horizon and you are just अपना बगीचा है, देखते रहो. Yes, sir.
Same time, if 15 years plus experienced technical writers have good domain knowledge, would they still be redundant as compared to freshers?
They may be, because the product itself will become redundant. Of what use is the telegraph machine today when I can WhatsApp you and no cost? If you know everything about telegraph machine today, better retire. Because the machine has already retired. Right? So though your knowledge is still there, but what if the technology has changed, the product has changed, your knowledge may be redundant because the product has changed. You know everything about something so narrow and that has become redundant. Have you ever got a pager? No, neither have I. That product was there in Indian market for 2 years. Unfortunately, mobiles came and nobody got a pager. Yes, I'm sorry, I need to give you I'll throw you it.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, Kiran.
See, we are talking about domain expertise for the freshers or juniors, but unfortunately, we don't have training for HIPAA standards or S1000 in this area. And it also means even if we have training, it might not be conducive for the technical writers. It might be general thing and they might not know what to use and what not to use. Because S1000 deal is 1,400 pages. And I don't think we can tell them that you have to read all this. So we don't have that. And how do we prepare as an industry?
So I think overall the industry is going to go through a tremendous shakeout. And let me be frank, only those people who have got transferable skills will survive. So you have to have the capability to learn S1000, right? So I know it's a 4,000 pages specification, but it is still a 4,000 page specification, right? What's wrong with it, right? And I don't think anybody is going to tell you, first page the last page tak bol ke batao chalo. I don't think, and everybody realizes that it's a reference book, right? You can learn it in 1 or 2 months. Transferable skills is what's going to make you survive. Correct? Total knowledge of any one subject is increasing your chances of being redundant or being eliminated.
This is
Yes,
the last
ma'am.
question.
Okay. So do you see tech writers doing consulting to companies, Indian or overseas companies, as a career option?
Yes. When I look at the mirror, I see one.
Yeah, I mean, that as a career future or...
I've been doing this for 20 years.
So you see as a one of the...
Not as future, it's present also. As past also. 20 years I've been doing it. Yes, sir. Anybody else?
No. This is the last question, please. Thank you.
So, thank you very much.